This is the MMA Brief Podcast, recapping the world of mixed martial arts every single week, with your host, Brandon Johansson.
Welcome back to the MMA Brief. Episode 27, recapping UFC 212 from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. We're going to start with the FS1 prelims, where Brian Kelleher upset Yuri Alcantara with a first-round guillotine. Very impressive win for the debuting Brian Kelleher. In the second fight on the prelims, Matthew Lopez TKO'd Johnny Eduardo in round one. Was very committed to a heel hook, and that left his face exposed to hammer fist, elbows, big ground and pound. Matthew Lopez gets the stoppage win in the first round. Antonio Carlos Jr. defeated Eric Spicely by second round rear naked choke. Rafael Assunção defeated the debuting Marlon Moraes by split decision. To start off the pay-per-view, Eric Silva versus Yancy Medeiros. I unfortunately did not get to see this fight live because I'm going to go out on the record and say DirecTV is terrible technology for the year 2017. There's a thunderstorm that rolled in, a lot of lightning. I didn't miss any of the prelims. Everything was smooth. I was worried the whole time. I'm like, fuck, about to order the pay-per-view. And the thunderstorm starts going crazy. I mean, it's raining hard. And all of a sudden, first fight just cuts out. It's out. I got like 5 people over watching the pay-per-view and just cuts out. My biggest fear is this fucking pay-per-view I just paid $60 for. Just cuts out. Non-refundable, by the way. All of a sudden, it just cuts to the post-fight interview. And it's Yancy Medeiros. And it says how many career knockouts he has. And I just assume he must have just knocked out Eric Silva. That's all I get. I paid $60 fucking for 5 fights. I missed the one because of the goddamn storm. So I only got 4 fights for $60. I'm not happy. I don't understand why I have a satellite dish in the year 2017. I'm more mad at myself than anything, but things are going to change around here. I'm going to be ordering it online, doing other things. The reason why I order it on DirecTV is because I can just charge it, and then it shows up on my bill later. Whereas if I went with the UFC TV app, I'd have to pay for it that night and shit, you know? So it's more convenient for me to just throw it on the old cable bill and pay it when she comes around, opposed to fork up the money that night. So, enough about me and how I missed the first fight. I did get to see some highlights on Twitter and online. Excellent combination, finish of the fight for Yancy Medeiros. Right hand, left hand, sent Eric Silva crashing to the mat. His head snapped back, a little bit of ground and pound, and the ref jumped in. Some say the fight was stopped prematurely. The way that Eric Silva landed on the ground, I'm not surprised it was stopped. Yancy Medeiros picks up a huge win against a veteran in Eric Silva. Paulo Borrachina TKO'd Alawale Bambose in the second round. Matchup of 2 meatheads, with all due respect, very physically fit fellas, make you feel like a total scrub. Anyway, Borrachina improves to 2-0 in the UFC. Vitor Belfort defeated Nate the Great Marquardt by decision, and the Phenom might have got the hometown Brazilian decision. Close fight. Number 1 ranked strawweight, Claudia Gadelha, finished Carolina Kovalevich, the number 2 strawweight, in the first round. Early, got a really deep rear naked choke and forced Carolina to tap. At this point, it seems like Claudia is the consensus number 2 in that division. Rose will probably get a title shot against Joanna. But Claudia is going to be right there waiting. Probably have to fight again. There is a 125-pound division that's going to start up, so it's going to be very interesting to see which women go from the 115 to the 125. I think Jessica Andrade is definitely the one that might move up to 125. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Probably Rose against Joanna. Claudia Gadelha looked incredible and just ran through Carolina. In the main event, featherweight champion Jose Aldo versus interim featherweight champion Max Holloway. Jose looked really good in round one. Max started kind of slow, especially for his style. He doesn't usually start that slow. Jose probably won round two, although Max kind of, got something going there at the end of round two. And then in round three, it was a 1-2 and a 1-2 that dropped Aldo. Max got on him. There was some grappling there. Looked like Aldo might recover. Holloway secured the mount. Started landing big shots that bloodied up Aldo. Gave up his back. Holloway eventually was able to earn the stoppage as John McCarthy halted the contest and Aldo's reign as featherweight king. Brazilians were very disappointed at the stoppage. Some people didn't agree with it. I thought it was good. Good stoppage by John McCarthy. Now we move into a new era where Max Holloway is a featherweight king. Afterwards, he called out Conor McGregor. Probably not going to happen unless Holloway goes up to 55 and McGregor even comes back to MMA. Aldo, very disappointing performance from him because he started out so good. Looked very fast, very violent. His technique was superb in the first 2 rounds. And then he got caught and just basically Max was all over him. He never had the chance to recover. Stopped for the second time now in his UFC career. And Max Holloway's the champion. So Aldo needs to put some wins together. He's only 30 years old. Still plenty of time for him. But it was definitely sad, his reaction after the loss. Coming up this weekend, Derek Lewis versus Mark Hunt. UFC Fight Night 110 from Auckland, New Zealand. Actually, pretty decent card. I'm very interested. It's on Fox Sports 1. Tim Elliott versus Ben Wynn. Dan Hooker versus Ross Pearson. Derek Brunson versus Brett Favre is the co-main event. Derek the Black Beast Lewis versus Mark the Super Samoan Hunt. A great heavyweight main event, regardless of whatever happens. Should be a knockout. Mark Hunt's fighting in New Zealand. Who knows? Can't wait. Come back next week. We're going to recap UFC Fight Night 110. Peace.